There's one thing that Meghan Markle does every single day without fail. Yes, scouring, looking, of course, across all the digital media platforms, checking out the news, you name it, about this particular senior royal. But for what reason? As ever, let me explain. Morning, lovely to see you today. As ever, thank you so much for taking the time out. By the way, I'm glad you all enjoyed that wonderful film, Wicked as They Come, starring the beautiful Arlene Dahl. Yes, what a lady, eh? What a film. All about a scheming temptress who clawed her way to the top using men along the way, and of course finding at the 11th hour, the final reel, that perhaps her scheming plans have come unstuck. Remind you of anybody? I'll leave that one there for you to ponder yourselves. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Meghan Markle, as I say, is in a very difficult dilemma because, according to a very well-placed source, literally who works alongside them on, shall we say, time-to-time stuff, on special projects. I have to be careful what I let out there. But the bottom line is, Meghan herself apparently is very concerned about His Majesty the King and his health. You see, it was no more pivotal really finding out, of course, that His Royal Highness it was not more pivotal, of course, finding out that Prince Harry didn't exactly learn anything about his father's health until he knew, of course, in the public domain of the media, which was kind of shocking in itself when you think about it, the fact that he picked it up from there. But what's interesting, and what Harry obviously tried to mask in that interview with ABC, if you remember, in the US, was, well, he wasn't really allowing that to go without sort of mentioning the fact that obviously he wasn't going to talk about his father's illness. That is because a lot of people say he doesn't know that much about it. Apparently one person who does know quite a lot about it is none other than Meghan Markle, who devours exactly all the details about His Majesty's health, the latest, sort of situations, developments regarding the treatment and where he is and all that sort of stuff. Now, one might suggest, of course, that this is a caring person who's really wanting to reach out to someone that she knew. According to that well-placed source, Meghan has tried, even more recently, to reach out to His Majesty the King, but to little avail. If you recall, over a year ago, she felt that she could mend fences with his youngest son and the King himself. Again, that was met with a bit of a hammer blow. She couldn't make connections. So what is the reason that Meghan is so keen, so invested, of course, in finding out exactly the health of His Majesty the King? Well, according to her, she would very much like her husband to have a relationship with his father, and more importantly, of course, her and his children. That is, of course, Prince Archie, Princess Lily. Now, some skeptics out there may say otherwise, Maybe the reason why Meghan wants to keep checking on the King's health is to see the development of the monarchy. Many people, of course, suspect that Meghan herself really does feel something for His Majesty the King. She claimed that they got on incredibly well. What I can tell you, though, is this, that His Majesty the King was never, ever left alone with Meghan Markle for informal chats or just one-to-ones over a cup of tea or coffee. He always made sure that there was somebody else in the room. So one might suggest, of course, the foresight of His Majesty the King. But for now, the only way that Meghan can find out exactly what's going on with the King's health is by simply this, checking online. Now, whether you believe her interests are valid, caring and sharing or not, really that's up to you. But apparently, this is one thing that she can't fail to do every single day. In fact, she starts that with one of her famous coffees, looking to see exactly any, shall we say, developments in the King's health. Naturally, everybody here on this channel wishes the best of health to His Majesty the King. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.